Hello and welcome to another Founders Masterclass. If this is your first Founders Masterclass, I welcome you and I want to thank you guys for being here and taking time out of your day and out of your week and out of your lives to learn a little bit more in this ever-evolving era of AI. So like in Founders Masterclass, we have them on a weekly, bi-weekly basis. And the goal is to keep you up to date in AI. In addition to this, we also have our fellow technology that you can use as a one-on-one tutor throughout the course. If you don't know how to access, I just wanted to quickly mention that before we begin, because I want to make sure that everyone in the founders community is taking advantage of this really cool technology. So you can go onto your platform, and it might look a little bit different than mine does at the moment, which you can see here. I'm actually going to change the view so it looks a bit better. There we go. And within your course, you have your lessons, as you know, your activities, which other students are uploading their ideas. And you can not just learn from us, but learn from your community about how people are applying AI into their field. And then the events, this is how you found this current masterclass that you're watching right now. And then you have your fellow. So this fellow is trained on whatever course you are in, and you can use your fellow to help you if you're confused on how to on a certain topic. Your fellow can help you out. Now, they are AI, even though Anita looks just like a human, and you can call her and have a little chat, just like you would on FaceTime. Now, she has really cool features in terms of recognizing the room around you, and you can even use Anita to help you create a Copilot agent, especially if you are in our Agentathon course. Now, I just wanted to, we can do another masterclass in the future, but if you're not using your fellow, go ahead and take advantage of your fellow. This is like a one-on-one tutor that you only can get here. So wanted to throw that out. Now, today for our masterclass, we have something really exciting. One of my favorite people in this AI space, and also someone that's super good at explaining and being very patient with people like me who don't come from as much of a technical background. His name is Usman Afzal, and he's a solution architect at Microsoft. And he's also going to be in our new AI and innovation course. I will let Usman take over from here. Hello, how are you?
Thank you, Anna, for having me here. I'm really glad to share my insights around productivity and using AI to get productive. My name is Usman Afzal. I'm a solution architect at Microsoft and a productivity coach. And my day in, day out work is to support customers and people and society to get productive, get efficient with the use of AI. And when we work at Microsoft, our AI tool and the go-to tool is Copilot. And that's what I want to share with you, with the audience, how you can tap into this technology, use Copilot, and get your day-to-day work done efficiently. I'm going to spend like 30 minutes with you sharing my insights and also how we position Copilot. So I will be sharing with you from a very basic perspective what Copilot is, how you can get access to it with a license or without a license as well. So no one is leaving behind. You can always access the information uh, uh, through Copilot, and as I said, either with a license or without the license. I will be talking and sharing with you how you can use Copilot in and across multiple applications. And finally, I'm going to share a tip with you how you can make this agent personalized in a way so that it starts behaving with your tone of voice and it gives you information that you normally would like to receive in a way that you talk or you share with the rest of the people. But before we do that, I want to share with you how we envision Copilot. So it's easier for you whenever you're working with the tool, you understand what was the origin, what was the intent behind Copilot and bringing it into the flow of work. So at Microsoft, we envision Copilot as your portal to AI. So you often heard Microsoft saying that Copilot is your UI to AI. And let me share with you the intent behind. We want you to consider Copilot just like a modern phone. As you see Copilot or as you use your mobile phones, you will use Copilot similarly. So remember that when you have a mobile phone, you have a lot of applications in there. So you go to WhatsApp when you have to communicate with someone. You go to YouTube when you have to entertain yourself or Netflix. And same goes, you go to Outlook when you have to communicate, send or receive emails. That's how you use your mobile phone. We want you to consider Copilot in the same fashion. That is your entry point, and then there are lots of agents that will augment information, will do specific tasks for you. So that's how we envision. We envision that everybody across the globe should have one digital assistant that is AI powered with latest models, and then you should be able to use that in the flow of your work. Now, the question is, and the big question is, how we are doing about it, how we are bringing this kind of an assistant in the flow of work. And the answer is our Copilot app, which we call a single platform for you to get integrated AI experiences. At first place, it has AI powered chat, which is essential because you would like to brainstorm, you would like to ideate with AI. That's the chat, which is powered by latest GPT-5 models, for example. And it also has deep reasoning capabilities in there. Nevertheless, we also bring AI powered search in there. Maybe you don't want to brainstorm. Maybe you just want to discover information that's accessible by you. That's the AI search for you right in the same application. If these two are not serving the purpose, and if you need to augment some specific information coming from internal application, external applications, or specific tasks to automate, think about agents. And the good news is you don't have to go anywhere. You stay within the Copilot app and you access your agents right within the same view. That's great because you have AI chat, you have AI search, as well as agents at the same place. And then we also bring in an interesting aspect for you, and that is notebooks. Now, I consider notebooks and I call them as mini knowledge base. If you're a project manager, or if you're an HR persona, or if you're working with finance, you're always working with a lot of information that's spread across organization. It's very rare that I meet people who would confirm that they have all information at one place. So I'm imagining and I'm assuming you're one of those. You work with a lot of data. Notebooks are for you to consolidate all that information into a single place and then use that and run AI models on top of it. So imagine you're a project manager. You bring in your latest product information into Copilot Notebook, and then you ask Copilot to reason over this information. That is why I call Copilot Notebooks are like mini knowledge base for your AI work. Nevertheless, the final and the last but not the least element of this Copilot app is the create functionality. We don't want you to leave behind if you are a person who creates a lot of innovative work. Maybe you are creating images, maybe you want to generate high quality videos, or maybe you just want to envision something that is high quality infographics. That is Copilot create for you right in the flow of work, right in the Copilot app. So that's how we achieved giving an assistant in your hands that you can use in your day in, day out scenarios. But that's not it. We also want to cover you if you are working among one of those applications that we believe thousands of people are working on daily basis. Either you are drafting a policy document in Word, or you are working with highly classified, detailed numerical data, financial information in Excel, or you are crafting high quality PowerPoint slides. Copilot is right in there to support you together with the agent mod. Nevertheless, if you're spending time, like many others, in Microsoft Teams or Outlook, you also get Copilot right in there as well, so that you can speed fast your work and get more productive around it. So all flavors are there. If you get a license, fully covered you are with Microsoft 365 license. If you do not have a license, you are still covered and get the basic, the advanced level of Copilot chat and AI search right in Copilot application. Now with this, I also want to leave you behind with some real processing, like some real demonstration of Copilot. So I'll switch and I'll share with you how I envision using Copilot, and I'm thinking about the broad audience here. You might be a person that just want to use Copilot for personal use. I'll share that with you. Or if you work in an industry, if you work in a corporate organization and you do have a Copilot license, then you have the full coverage of using Copilot in all spaces. So let's get started and let me share with you how you can get access to Copilot. And again, I'm saying with or without license, my goal is to empower you so you start using Copilot from today. Now, let's look into one quick way where I would like to share with you how you can use Copilot right using the free version. So let's have a look very quickly. So imagine that you just have an Outlook identity or Microsoft Live account. So you're not, maybe you are uh, working just personally using your account. You don't have a corporate identity. In that case, all you have to do is to go to copilot.microsoft.com and sign in with your Outlook account, with your Live account, and then you will have access to the basic functionality of Copilot. Here you can see that I do have a possibility to start having conversation with Copilot. I get GPT-5 right in there. I can have a prompt. I can ask for recommendation about a product. And just like any other generative solution, Copilot is going to give me responses. All of this processing is happening using your identity. So basically, you have full control over the history of Copilot conversation. You get access to this one just by having an Outlook or Live account, and you will have a possibility to brainstorm with Copilot. This is limited functionality because you won't be able to bring in your files, you won't be able to discover information that's available on your OneDrive, etc. So let me tell you what is the next step for you if you can have a license, even a private license, but working with Copilot. Let's have a quick look into that aspect as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm sharing with you another possibility to interact with Copilot. But this time, I am using an identity, and you can see my browser color is different just for identification. This time, I'm using my private account. I'm still going to copilot.microsoft.com, but this time I do have a family subscription, which means I do get a little bit more than what Copilot offers me with free account. So what you can see on your screen right now is that I do have a possibility to interact with Copilot just like the free version. I have the GPT-5. I have the other possibilities to go deeper with my conversation with Copilot. But on the other side, I also have connectors available. Now, this is where the real power of Copilot connected with your OneDrive or your Outlook is. So I can simply go and ask Copilot to provide me with the latest emails. Now remember that it's not a corporate account. It's my personal account by having a subscription based on the family account. You can have the Copilot Pro as well. And then Copilot do have access to your inbox and your OneDrive files as well. You can always ask for the latest files that you do have accessing within your OneDrive. So you get a lot of possibilities as soon as you bring in a personal license to Copilot. You are still in a non-corporate environment, but you do have a lot of possibilities. You can create artifacts just like any other AI solution. You can create quite decent artifacts, images, videos, and generate them for your personal use. Now, this is where I stop talking about the personalized use of Copilot using your personal identities. You get full possibilities as soon as you start bringing in the corporate account. So think about if you're working in an organization and you have the Copilot, the Microsoft 365 Copilot license, then you get full access to all those possibilities that will speed fast your day in day out scenarios. So from here onward, I'm switching my gears and I'm going to talk about what do you get with Copilot when you have a corporate license. So what you see on my screen right now is my interaction with Microsoft 365 Copilot. So imagine that you're working in an organization like Contoso or the whatever the name is, and you have a Copilot, the M365 version of Copilot access to. So for example, in that case, the first thing you will notice that now Copilot gives me two different possibilities. I can interact with Copilot using the web version, meaning it's me and my Copilot where we are having conversations. So we are doing the work, but that has nothing to do with my organization. I can switch to Work tab, and as soon as I do that, now I am letting Copilot scope down its knowledge on the work information, the Word documents, Excel files, PowerPoint, all that information that I have access to, including my SharePoint sites or OneDrive. I'm giving Copilot indication that I want you to reason over that particular information. This is great because in this way, Copilot not only do the LLM work by looking into public information, but it's actually looking into the work that's more important for me. So as soon as you start seeing the Web and Work tab, that's an indication that you are bringing Microsoft 365 Copilot license with you. And then you can do a lot of things in there. For example, at this moment, I am in my Copilot experience. What I'm going to do right now, I'm just going to run a simple prompt and I'm going to ask Copilot to summarize something for me. And you're going to see that just in a while. I'm asking Copilot to summarize some key risk elements and milestones for a specific project that I'm working on these days. I do not need to attach any files in here because the expectation is Copilot do have the grounded information already that I do have access to. As soon as I go and hit enter, basically I'm letting Copilot do its work. At this point in time, Copilot do have access to the emails that I send or receive, the documents that I work on, and Copilot will do its best effort to provide me summarization on that particular project. And you can see that even though my prompt is not very detailed, I haven't provided, I won't call this a good looking prompt, by the way, but still Copilot is able to discover information for me. And all of this is happening because I do have the M365 license, which means now Copilot can simply access the information that otherwise I can access myself. So you can see how quickly I speed fast my work. If I wanted to do the same thing myself, I have to open Excel files, Word documents, and I had to find out the key risk elements by myself on that particular project. But in this case, Copilot can easily get that information for me because Copilot do have access to that particular. Now, that's one thing. That's me asking Copilot to perform certain things, discover information, and summarize that. But remember, I said Copilot is available for you in the flow of work. So an obvious question should be, this is fine, this is great, but this is still a chat experience. When you said Copilot is available in the flow of work, how do I get access to that particular Copilot? Let me tap into that and let me show you possibilities where you start using Copilot and becoming even more efficient rather than just doing a chat with a Copilot. Let's move on and let's take an example of having Copilot in your favorite tool. I hope so, and that is Outlook. All of us at some point in time during the day are sending or receiving emails. So Outlook is a companion uh, communication tool for most people across the globe. So let's see how Copilot can speed fast that particular tool and what we do in there. At this point in time, I'm sharing my simple Copilot, basically my Outlook in there. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick up one specific email thread. So you can see here, we are talking about go-to-market strategy for some products, and it's a quite decent thread right in there. Of course, if I start my day and if I see this thread, it could be a mission critical conversation, and it will take some time for me to digest all of that. I can do a few things with Copilot. First of all, I can simply come in here and ask Copilot to summarize that for me. That is the default way of getting summary from Copilot. In other words, some people say the vanilla version, meaning I'm not giving any instructions. I'm just asking Copilot, you have a thread with you. Can you please summarize it for me? That's a very quick way of getting up to speed on the conversation that's ongoing already. Think about if you're working in a role where normally, before you get into your Outlook, there are several people who have responded to a threat. Maybe you're working in a mission critical scenarios. In that case, this becomes really crucial to get the crust of the information as soon as possible. Copilot is there to help you out straightforward. But nevertheless, this is just one way of getting information. You can always bring in Copilot in Outlook and get that nice experience as well. So now you see I do have my thread open. I can simply ask Copilot to go ahead and summarize that information for me as well. In that case, I will use the traditional way of using chat together with the Outlook, and I'm asking typical questions. And the beauty is now I can go even further. Rather than just taking a summary, I can ask Copilot, can you provide me the main elements from this particular email thread? Show me the areas where I am at mentioned. That's another typical example of using Copilot directly within this particular view as well. So you can see here, if I go ahead in the chat experience, I can now have my intent in the prompt. So I'm not just saying summarize, I'm asking summarization in few sentences, and also I want to get the main points and key aspects from that particular email as well. Now, this is a typical way that I will suggest people who work with a lot of emails and they are busy, they get overwhelmed with the information they receive in Outlook. Copilot is there. It can speed fast your discovery and finding information as well as getting to the point with the emails that you receive. Now, that is great possibility of using Copilot in Outlook. Several times, people ask me question. That's also fine. We could read the emails ourselves. It's more important when we are drafting, when we are responding back. This is where it takes time for some people because they have to think through before responding, depending on the scenario. Let me tell you how you can get help from Copilot in that particular use case as well. So let me proceed from here. And let's say that I have looked into this mail thread. I have used Copilot to understand what's happening, and now I am ready to actually respond back to these people about this particular ask. As soon as I'm there, I can simply go and ask Copilot to respond back to the audience. So basically, I can say, uh, respond back in a way that is short and friendly message, and I can also put my intent in there. So maybe I want to say I encourage my team to work on the project, but I offer them my support and a one-to-one meetings if needed. If I would do that, Copilot will quickly go ahead and generate that information for me, which is going to be an AI version of the email. I always call as a first draft, but that's where the most time is taken by people. So you get the first draft by Copilot, and then you can go ahead and start co-authoring together with Copilot for that particular email as well. So that's the answer to those people who really want to go ahead and respond back to people based on Copilot. For example, I can quickly try that out right in here, and I would say uh, draft a response with confirmation. So I'm making it pretty small with my scenario because I really want to demonstrate this to you. But I hope you get the point. You can bring in your intent. You don't need to just confirm to an email. You basically can bring in your intent, offer one-to-one calls or meetings. It's entirely up to your prompt. My goal is to share with you that you can respond much quicker than you have done the entire drafting by yourself. Now, this is fun, you can get that, but then this qualifies for another concern. A lot of people talk about tone of voice, and a lot of people, including me, they want to bring in their flavor to the email. So the email should sound like it's written by Usman and not by Copilot. If that's the case, fair. There are few options that you can simply adjust this tone. But let's suppose if, for example, you can make it direct, casual, formal, or something like that. But still, if that's not what you are after, you really want to make your assistant work like you, hear me out what I'm going to show you. With Copilot, you actually get possibilities to customize Copilot with your instructions, and that's one-time effort. So basically, you can go to your Outlook and you can draft the draft instructions, and you can tell Copilot every time you ask for generating an email, what are the key elements Copilot should think about. So now here is the point. If you're a person who is direct in nature, you don't bring fluff while you are writing presentation. Awesome. Why not? Tell that to Copilot. Bring your intent, bring your heart out into the Copilot will use those instructions while generating the response. This is the cherry on the top, I must tell you. And a lot of people skip that part or they don't know this, that you can always instruct Copilot to behave or respond in a way that you would do yourself. So you can give those instructions, and this is one time effort. Copilot will use that part, that information every time you ask for generating, drafting emails, or scheduling meetings within Outlook using Copilot. Now I stop here. These are few possibilities I shared with you that you have in Outlook from summarizing a large thread to drafting an email. There are a lot of people out there who do a great brainstorming work, and they always look for possibilities to improve and get efficient with that brainstorming work. Let me show you how Copilot can quickly help you to do that brainstorming work as long as you have a Copilot license. What you're seeing on screen right now, that's my whiteboard. That's my go-to tool when I have to do brainstorming either by myself or I have to do brainstorming with a lot of different people on Teams calls or any other platform of communication that I use. Let me tell you how quickly you can use Copilot to improve that process, again, to speed fast things and get the first draft ready for you. You can see here I have my Copilot ready, waiting for me to suggest ideas. I can simply go here and ask Copilot to, for example, I have a prompt ready for this thing as well. I can go and ask Copilot, can you please suggest me some of the risks that might happen for Project Alpha? Remember that you do have a license. That means Copilot has access to the information that you have access to. And now you can see Copilot has given me some of the specific risks that may arise for that particular project. If you are a project manager and listening to me, I am pretty sure you would like it because this will make sure that you can quickly do the real work rather than having sticky notes in there and spending a lot of time on technology itself. Let me do one thing. Let me show you how quickly I can go ahead and add these brainstorming notes on my canvas. And even I can categorize them as well so that my team would feel empowered working with me on that particular brainstorming session. So here you can see my initial draft is ready. I can simply keep it. And every time I need to add more information, I can bring one of the sticky note and we can start running our brainstorming session. Now think about if you're running Monday meetings with your project team and you're going through different tasks and activities that you have to do. If you're looking for different risks that you want to identify, this could be your handy go-to tool that you can take help from. Now, hear me out, the magic. So this is good, and this is great that you can get the early draft ready with Copilot. But what about you have spent days and days identifying multiple risks, putting a lot of different sticky notes in there, and now you want to summarize that information. What you're going to do? Are you going to copy all of that, take it to a Word document? Or you're going to take screenshots or do other things. Let me tell you how quickly you will get all of this information ready for you to use in any media, emails or Word or PowerPoint. How would you do that? Simply click on your Copilot and ask for summarizing the information. Now, what Copilot is going to do is to look into your canvas that you have on OneNote, and it's going to summarize the information based on how many participants were there, who was saying what, and what is the summary of the information in there. This is a typical demo, but of course, think about once you have the decent information on the canvas, you're going to see all of this information right in the whiteboard itself, and then you can copy from here, take it directly into your email or into Word documents and start co-rating right from there. So no repeat, no copy pasting of just the sticky notes to the actual description. AI will do this for you and you will get your text ready, your important information that you can take away with you. Now, that is for you. If you're a project manager or a person who normally do a lot of brainstorming, you can use this information using Copilot. So what you have seen today, how you can use Copilot Chat. Once you have a license, you can simply go ahead, bring your prompt. As long as your prompt is decent, efficient, you will get a lot of information from Copilot that you can generate very quickly. Or if you're a person who spend a lot of time in Outlook, you can summarize information quickly. You can draft information to get the first draft ready, and you can even give instructions to your Copilot as well. The next thing I want to share with you is aspect of Copilot app, and that is Copilot notebooks. How do you get it? Again, by going to your Copilot app, you do have all your notebooks. So as you can see here, I have multiple notebook here. Let's just bring them all on screen. I have these notebooks. I want you to think in a way that this is a, uh, a project repository or a placeholder for you where you can have information from multiple sources into a single place. And then you ask Copilot to reason over that information. Let's take the same scenario. Imagine that you are a project manager working on the same alpha project, that's my demo project. And imagine that you have information in your OneDrive, the information is shared with you from your colleagues, and the information is also available on SharePoint. So you see that information is spread across multiple sources that you have to uh, check by yourself. So you have to evaluate by yourself. But with Copilot Notebook, I can simply have my notebook that will have access to all those resources. Let me just refresh this. Just give me a second as soon as my resources are there. So now you can see I do have my Copilot notebook, which is basically a productive and efficient canvas for me. On the top, or actually the bottom left corner, you see all the references that I have. So I have a PowerPoint, I have a Word document, and I have multiple pages that talks about Project Alpha. As soon as I bring them into my Copilot notebook, the first thing Copilot notebook does is to create a summary for that particular project for me. Hear me out again. I didn't ask for that. I just brought in multiple different sources into Copilot notebook, and the notebook is able to generate a summary that can be read by anyone to quickly get up to speed on what's happening in the project. What was the latest thing? What are the risks are there? What are the key milestones? So a new person will get onboarded in extremely much faster fashion uh, compared to otherwise if someone has to onboard people. And then not only this, I can simply ask Copilot multiple questions across my notebook as well. Let me give you a scenario. Let's imagine that I want to get to know the top 3 risks, and I want to get recommended actions for about Project Alpha. So again, hear me out my scenario. I'm a project manager and I want to know top 3 risks and recommendations, the actions that I can do around that project. I can simply go to Copilot Chat as well, but that's going to be a non-consolidated fashion because Copilot will do best effort to go through almost everywhere. So Copilot processing has to look for Project Alpha throughout my organization. But I can speed fast that. I can create a notebook, bring in the resources, and then ask the question. Technically, what I'm doing, I'm giving Copilot a specific knowledge source to work on. So Copilot doesn't have to go here and there to provide me responses. Copilot will look into all those reference files, which you can see on my screen anyhow, and then generate responses based on that. The benefit is the processing will be much more faster and the responses will be much more accurate because now I'm helping Copilot to look the knowledge from specific sources. This is the great advantage that you get with Copilot notebooks, where you can bring in information from multiple sources. And also, now Copilot is not providing me responses based on documents only. It actually is providing me responses based on whatever references I have provided. Maybe documents, maybe emails, meeting notes. They are typical example of providing a source to notebook. So all in all, as long as I have access to information, I can pull that into a single notebook, and then I can start asking Copilot uh, questions or prompts accordingly. So you see here, when I ask questions now, the responses are much more clear because Copilot processing stays within the limit of these references and it's not looking across my organization. It's only looking into those aspects. The other fun element with Copilot Notebook is the possibility to create audio summaries. Now, this is fun because when we work in organizations, we normally work with serious data and we're working with files and presentation. But every now and then, I personally feel we need some fun elements as well with work. So, how we consume information. In the past, we used to read news. Nowadays, we are listening podcasts. So, why not bringing the same possibility into our flow of work as well? And this is where what you can get through Copilot notebooks. Once you have decent information, you can simply create audio summaries for this notebook as well. So again, imagine you're a project manager and you have decent information, decent progress around your project, but you want to demonstrate this to you for the rest of the organization. And you want to give it to top leadership, perhaps. They would love to hear rather than just reading all the time. So giving them a 3 minutes brief that's in audio fashion that they can listen in a podcast style, I think that's going to be a game changer, the way how people have been consuming information so far. Let me take a pause here and zoom out a little bit. I'm sharing with you a possibility to use Copilot notebooks. Once you have the corporate identity, you can consolidate information from multiple sources into a single place, and then you can speed fast the brainstorming with Copilot. You can also and you can always ask Copilot to reason on over on that particular information as well. Now, with this, let me last part that I want to share with you, and then we'll take a pause there. Uh, so far, you are hearing Copilot usage across different applications that I've picked for today. But I'm missing one important element, and that is many of us are spending time running meetings. So we are either uh, leading the calls or we are supporting the different meetings. How Copilot can help you while you are running meetings. Let me show that to you in a very typical and a simple scenario where a meeting has been recorded, and then I would like to use Copilot to go and recap that particular meeting. Let's go back and have a look again to one of my scenario. So at this point in time, what I'm sharing with you on screen is a typical meeting that I have conducted together with my colleagues. And what I have on screen right now is actually a recap possibility for me. So I can go back and watch the recording. You can see here I have multiple parts of this meeting. So I can actually watch this recording to consume the information. I would call it a little bit old-fashioned way of consuming information. The other way could be I can simply quickly jump into multiple topics that were discussed in the meeting. I like that one because that will bring my intent in there. I don't want to hear the entire meeting. I just want to go to specific topics if that's my interest. That's a good option. I can even go ahead and look for the speakers as well. Maybe there's a certain person I want to hear because I really want to hear what they have to say about that topic. So I can switch based on speakers as well. So slowly I am getting efficient to follow up my meetings. But then there comes Copilot for you or AI that actually gives you AI summaries. Now that is awesome because that means I don't need to go through the entire recording. I don't need to go through different chapters and topics. I actually can look into the AI summary or I can look into the places where I have been specially mentioned. Now, this is super important for me. If someone mentioned me during the meeting, I would get that information right from here as well, which is really great. So, Copilot, very handy, created AI summary, and also gave me indications where I have been mentioned. And I also see some follow-up tasks there as well. This is what I really enjoy, and I would suggest you to use that for recapping your meeting. But there, let me give you the last tip. This is not it. You can actually take it to the next level as well and bring in Copilot experience right in this view because the EA summary is the vanilla version. It's what Copilot has generated for everyone. Maybe you want person, maybe you're a project manager and you just need to focus on the decision that has been made. So look at this one. I can even prompt Copilot to look this particular meeting and suggest me the action points that we discussed in the last thing. And there you see it's now giving me action points saying that Amber, who's my colleague, she was supposed to schedule a Copilot training session. So I can go back and follow up on this one. So hear me out, my version of saying it. Recapping is there, take advantage of that. But if you are a person who wants to bring in your intent and you want to make sure that you are uh, getting information from Copilot in a way that you want to, then you can use Copilot in the recapping functionality as well. Now, with this is time for me to recap as well what we have been talking about. So I'll go back to my presentation and I just try to summarize what I have said so far. Right. All I want to let you know is that when you are here, when you listen to me today, this was a crash course on Copilot, to be honest, but I want you to take away a message with you, and that is Copilot in every version, in free version or with the licensed version. Consider it as your assistant that can work for you. You can customize it by giving instructions, which is really good because then you can customize in Outlook and tell Copilot your tone of voice. Even in the chat, you have possibilities to bring in the personalization possibilities, and you can instruct Copilot how do you want the summaries to be generated. So customize your assistant, and once you do that, I can tell you that you're going to get a lot of benefit and you will be efficient, you will be speeding fast the way you work within the organization or even for the private and personal use as well. Now, with this, I would say go ahead, use Copilot, go to copilot.microsoft.com, bring in your personal identity or the identity that you get from your corporate accounts, and then you would be able to have fun and get more productive using Copilot. I stop here and I get back to you, Anna.
Hello again. Okay, making sure you can hear me all right. That was a great presentation. As someone that is not a part of Microsoft, I can see that the different licenses levels can be so confusing to understand and to navigate and understand the different levels. And I think you did such a fabulous job of painting a picture about what are the abilities of each of the levels. And then also, I think it's genuinely the best presentation I've ever seen about presenting all of the different things that Microsoft 365 can do within a condensed time, because I find it that this tool, and I was reluctant at first, I will say, that how good can it really be? And it's been a game changer when it comes to my productivity and my ability to do good work and an efficient manner. And it really has made a difference. What do you think about Microsoft 365? Was it because it's evolved so much?
Correct. And first
Usman?
of all, I'm happy. I'm happy, and to hear that you got some information that is useful. I must tell you, the biggest value proposition of Copilot and the 365 version is the privacy you get with it. You can use a lot of tools out there in the market to brainstorm, to be more efficient, and discover information much more faster. But I always ask people in a very humble fashion, Ask yourself where your information is going. With Microsoft 365 Copilot, you get that confirmation. You get that certificate that once you bring in your information and ask Copilot to perform certain activities, everything stays within the boundary of your organization. Similarly, if you use the personal account and you have the license with that, everything stays within your OneDrive. So that is the real value proposition, Anna, where I have been educating and supporting customers to use Copilot to feel more safe, because in all manners, with or without license, you get enterprise data security and a confirmation that no model training is happening on your data. I think that is very important in today's time.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. It's definitely a platform that provides security and productivity in one. I don't think that there's any other tool out there that can really compare to Microsoft 365's ability. And I don't think the normal person can tell this unless they've actually tried it and seen the ability itself. It is the coolest feature when I am preparing for a meeting and I can ask Copilot to go through my emails that I previously had with this
Mhm.
person so that I don't walk in blind. And I also don't have to spend so much time going back and researching all of the information when Copilot can just bring it up there for me. I mean, what is your favorite feature or that Copilot can do?
So two of them, I have several, but I would like to mention two of them. One that you just mentioned, to create the first draft of my communication. So I personally feel that I want to bring in my tone of voice, so I
Yeah.
am that kind of person, but I also feel that it takes time. And that's where I need to live with what I am preaching, and that is to use Copilot in Outlook with my custom instructions. So I actually have instructions that where I said I'm a cloud solution architect, and I work a lot of on details when it comes to architecture and reduce the fluff, jargons, and all that. And I've done that one time. And now Copilot is giving me quicker drafts ready. And then, of course, it's me who's going to send and press the final button so I can go through that. That's one thing. The other thing, which is actually the day in, day out scenario for us within Microsoft and for me personally as well, that is we are all overwhelmed with number of meetings. So you can't be in all meetings, or even if you are, you're not there all the time keeping notes. So transcribing the meeting and then using Copilot to recap information just for the what I am supposed to do. And sometimes even prioritizing one meeting over other and letting the organizer know I would like to follow that meeting. That's a great feature
Mhm.
because at the end of the day, I have a reserved slot where I can go back and consume information using Copilot for all those meetings that I have followed. So these two features are really they have proven productivity for myself and what I have seen and heard working in the industry as well.
Wow. I mean, these are two really great things. I will be honest, this was my first time that I had seen the email feature that you demonstrated during this masterclass, where you can program Copilot's tone to help make
Mhm.
the email sound more like you. And that is an incredible feature that I feel like, how did I not know about that before? And there's
Yeah.
so many things like this that within the 365 environment that there's so many cool features.
Mhm. And I must tell you that you are not the only one.
Thank you.
I have got the privilege to talk to a lot of C-level individuals as well. And if I'm having anybody on the call in that position, I must tell you, I hear you. I know that you have less time. You don't want to get fluff from Copilot or Gen AI. I heard you.
Yeah.
But I must tell you, there's a little effort you have to do, and that is go to your Copilot, bring in the custom instructions, and tell them,
Mhm.
this is my role, and I need to respond in just 2 lines. That's it. It's one-time effort, and Copilot will bring the information, will draft the information, hopefully close to your tone of voice.
Yeah. One thing that I also I'm really bad at is sometimes I'm too wordy, and I realize that with my wordiness, even though I'm trying to be clear, it also will get less likely to get a fast response from people. So using Copilot to condense my wordiness into a simplified two-liner message would be ideal for me. So this is something that I'm going to start integrating into my communication strategy moving forward, and I'm really excited to see how it goes. I also had another question that
Go
I would
ahead.
like to ask. What do you think is one of the most underutilized or not as known feature that Copilot can do? Not the ones that you've mentioned so far. If there's something else outside, because there's, yeah.
So I think, I don't blame people. I think it's pretty new.
Yeah.
A lot of people have not heard about the agent mod in
Mm.
Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Uh, and I know that this whole AI world is evolving. So when we launched Copilot in Excel at first, it was lacking some functionality, and that's fair. I mean, I get it, and I think we all accept that. But we also accept that we have been working very hard. So one feature, one possibility that I feel is still underrated is the use of Copilot in Excel. If you get ever
Mm.
chance to do this kind of a live stream again, we might spend decent time on showing the possibilities in Excel. I think that's where, Anna, I see people will be betting on in coming months. There is huge demand in the market, but because of the early impression, there are a lot of people who are not actually going into Excel and using Copilot in there. So if you're here listening to us, there is a keyword for you. Agent mode in Excel can improve the way how you normally work with financial information, with data, with pivot tables, and a lot of other things in Excel. You're gonna love it once you use agent mode in Excel. So that's one underrated feature. The other thing, which you can do anyhow today, that is to customize your Copilot chat. Just like you customize Outlook, you can actually customize Copilot chat as well by giving instructions. How do you normally want to get information back from Copilot? So see,
Mm.
in Outlook, you are telling Copilot how to generate information. But let's suppose you are tired. You always ask a question and you get a lot of information from Copilot. This is not how Anna works. This is not how Usman works. I want three different headings where the background, the knowledge, and what the next steps. I just want that. Fair. Tell it to Copilot by customizing that information as well,
Wow.
which is really cool feature. And by the way, I can just in a minute show that to you so that people don't miss that part. Once you are in your Copilot experience, simply go to these three dots, click on settings, and there you have the personalized option. Underrated feature, many people do not go there. And look for custom instructions. This is where you can tell Copilot what do you want. And now we are improving there as well. Look at my custom instructions. Provide concise answers with technical depth in 3 bullets. Suggest one decision option with pros and cons. And then I have some headings for the architectural roadmap items as well. Once I have this information and I turn it on, I'm basically customizing the way how Copilot should respond for me. Do you want to see the difference? Let's
Yeah.
try the same prompt I did early on, and I can do it again, and I hope you're going to see the difference. Uh, Sometimes it takes a few seconds for Copilot to switch between what was before and after, but I hope that you're going to see some headings in there, and there is the current status, what I asked for, so that Copilot will suggest based on that as well. So underrated feature, please try it out if you're using Copilot. This is available with your license and non-license, both possibilities. That's very important for you to hear out because I'm pretty sure some people in the audience might not have a license. Fair. If you are uh, using for personal use, you still have custom instructions available for you as long as you have the corporate identity for you. So that's one underrated feature, Anna.
That is super cool. Both of these features are really cool. I've never heard about this agent feature, a Copilot agent, was it, in Excel?
Agent mod. Yeah,
Agent mode,
yeah,
excuse me. Yeah, agent
yeah,
mode in Excel. And I actually had someone reach out and ask if we could use, agents with Excel. And their question
yeah.
didn't flag that there was also an agent mode in Excel. So This is definitely a topic that I would love
Yeah,
to
sure.
circle back to in the future, whether it be for our updated Copilot and productivity course or that we have online, or also a masterclass. So that is
Of course.
really, really cool. I'm going to go ahead and share your LinkedIn in the chat. Now, it's also available in the Founders platform under the masterclass video. If you're watching this later on and you do not see the chat, please go and, oh, wait, this is not Usman's LinkedIn. This is the wrong LinkedIn. Let me go and put the right one before I give people the wrong information. My apologies about that. Now, this one. Here is the LinkedIn, and this will also be available on the Founders platform. And if you're enrolled or thinking about enrolling in the AI and innovation course, you will be seeing Usman again, where he's going to be going over private AIs, and he talks about them in a beautifully clear way to understand, because it is a really cool topic, especially when regarding security. So, Usman, I will let you into the call with any final words that you have.
The only final words I have is to go try Copilot.
Yes.
For whatever scenario you are in, bring in yourself through customizations. That's super important. Do it from day one, so you will enjoy the conversation. You're not going to see the standard, the raw conversation, the summarizing. So what I'm trying to say is that try to bring in your intent together with the custom instructions. Use that and use the community forum. Follow and let me know if you have any questions through LinkedIn. I'll be happy to help out. And
Amazing.
thank you very much, Anna, for having me here.
Of course, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed learning from you, and also you're just such a great person. So I love having you on. So I hope we'll be able to
Thank
collaborate
you.
again in the future. Yes, and thank you everyone for joining, and all of the future people who are watching this. I hope you guys found it as useful as I did, and have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye bye.